When what's in front of me is not what he promised me, I'm looking at the wrong things. Have conviction through contradiction. I choose to believe. I choose to believe. When what's in front of me.
Look to your left and your right. The person sitting next to you may not be here when this is all over. Remember the faces on your left and on your right, because the person sitting next to you may not be in the best 7 years when this is all over. This is for those who choose to believe.
You said you never put more on me than I can bear. And right now, things have been grisly. God, I believe in you, but it seems like your word has missed me, so excuse me if I'm tripping. I know what your word says. Sometimes I wonder if you do. You see, I'm looking through Titus 1 and 2 like, maybe God can't lie, but he can show enough stretch the truth. I just need you to show up. That's it. It's that simple. I realize what I've been through, but you promised me more than this. Homes with no mortgages, top 40 Forbes list, a land with milk and honey flowing from every orifice.
When what's in front of me is not what he promised me, I choose to believe.
I got off the altar and I was still broke. It's hard to think about the best 7 years when I wonder if I'll survive the next 7 minutes. I started expecting the worst, because believing for better will leave you with the public auctioning of your Craigslist furniture, somewhere between my bedding in the back seat and taking baths at public restroom sinks. I became a servant turned gypsy, smuggling canned goods from other people's pantries, and it only takes a few bites of stale bread to realize.
Man does not live by bread alone.
Have you ever fasted 40 days and 40 nights out of poverty and not religious duty? How can I hunger and thirst for righteousness, God, when I'm hungry and thirsty? Who would continue to serve a God like that?
Have conviction through contradiction. I choose to believe.
What do you do when you have a heart that doesn't do what it's supposed to do? Like feel. It's not like I can't feel pain or love or sadness. I just can't feel God anymore. They say he's close to the brokenhearted, but what about the heart that's been hardened? The heart that can't get its hope up because it's been let down too many times, where policemen committing crimes is just another scroll under my thumb, and I've become numb because social media has become the world's encyclopedia. Truth is now subjective. Shoot, marriage is defined by anyone's perspective. Another church burns and my heart returns to the same question all the atheists ask.
Where is your God now? When what's in front of me is not what he promised me. Nobody told me that a faith fight could be so bloody, or the debt would place weights on my shoulders that I couldn't lift, and I'm supposed to lift my hands in praise instead of complain. But I got student loans too big to be paid in my lifetime, and debt from mistakes my creditors just won't forgive. I've lived taking bold steps of faith, and now I'm paying for it, and I can't pay for it. And I've heard so many right now prophetic words that I'm callous to them, weary. I've stood at so many of these sovereign mics facing the same never-ending fight with these overdraft fees. So I don't need another motivational speech disguised as a prophetic word. I need an explanation for why you and my promises are late. I need my tithes back. I need my time back. And you can have your word back. I heard it doesn't return to you void anyway.
Have a conviction through contradiction. You said young men would dream dreams, but then you asked me to give up mine. So I gave up dreaming, which explains why I ain't sleeping, or why my siblings are still in the streets, or why they stay seeking you. God, I just want peace, or a little piece of heaven without having to go through hell to get it. I mean, why am I always at these hot gates? Leonidas sacrifices, I'm just confused on what to do with all these dreams. I mean, is this where I fight, or is this where they die? Because the enemy's fiery darts have come, and their arrows are blotting out your son. God, I need to hear from you. Because the devil has prophetic words too.
When what's in front of me is not what he promised me. Have conviction through contradiction.
Look to your left and your right.
I choose to believe.
The person sitting next to you may not be in the same fight, but we're on the same battlefield, facing the same enemy, and the devil is trying to rob you of your victory.
Even this was prophesied.
Beware of distractions and pitfalls set by the enemy. You will recognize them in due time.
You better recognize
when you don't believe the prophet who prophesied your victory the last time,
You're looking at the wrong thing.
when your plans take the place of your prayer life,
You're looking at the wrong thing.
when you're focused on the water instead of the fact that you're walking on it.
When you count up all the offerings you gave and wish that it was money you saved.
When your Facebook timeline becomes more real to you than the God you serve.
When you use the energy you have left to give up instead of get up. This is when you get up. Choose to believe.
listen, the lion's den is not how Daniel pictured his life. David didn't look like a threat to his giant. Abraham couldn't get his hope up for nothing.
That could have been their end, but it wasn't.
What really matters has not changed. God will keep his word with you.
So if you feel like the fire is getting hotter, you are right where you need to be. He just amplified the trial to draw a crowd so that everybody can see that the God you serve will always show up.
He always shows up.
And he'll never place more on you than you can bear.
So when things get grisly, remember all the beasts you defeated to get here. You are still here. This is the best 7 years of your life.
What you see will never change the word, but the word will always change what you see.
So be strong in faith, daring to believe.
Look to your left and your right. Decide that you will not leave your neighbor behind. There is grace and favor on every side for the three of you. Tell your neighbor,
Grace, 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 favor, favor, favor.
Even when you get sick of your situation, God sent his word and its medicine to your flesh. So choose to talk like the healed.
Walk like the healed, praise like the healed, pray like the healed. It's already done.
and don't be weary in well-doing, and you will do a lot without borrowing much to do it. See, God is going to give you resourceful ways to help you through it. Debt release,
Debt removal, debt reduction. Did you hear what we just said? Debt release, debt removal, debt reduction.
It's time for you to reap all that you have sown.
God will increase you above what you owe.
He said that I'm taking you back in order to take you beyond, because everyone knows that the best part of the slingshot is when you let the rock go.
You in this fight with the head of Goliath in one hand and your prosperity in the other.
So choose to believe that the same God that gave you your dreams will make them come true. This moment is bigger than you.
There are people waiting to see if your God is real. How this story unfolds. Don't you know that your testimony will be the net used to recapture lost souls?
Be bold.
God has given you the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind.
And that sound you hear is not a storm coming. That's the sound of the abundance of rain. Step out on faith.
Get your feet wet.
Like Abraham who had to walk with his sacrifice. Your obedience will be rewarded at those sovereign mics. Prosperity is attached to your seed.
Your destiny is attached to your seed. He never said it'll be easy, but he promised it'll be your best. So watch what I do.
When you have a heart that is humble instead of hardened.
Watch what I do.
When you look for the supernatural instead of looking for sympathy.
Watch what I do.
When you worship instead of worry.
Watch what I do when you praise instead of complain.
And hold on to that praise and never let it go.
Never let it go.
The key to your accelerated turnaround, to your victory. You'll see.
It's time for you to be who God called you to be. And his name will be established in this generation. So when what's in front of you is not what he promised you, have conviction through contradiction. When what's in front of you is not what he promised you, have conviction through contradiction. When what's in front of you is not what he promised you,